their next argument. We should raise tuition every year to match the rate of inflation because the cost of delivering that education go up approximately at that rate of inflation. How many is all for that? No hands are going up. Why? Anybody disagree with this? Anybody want to rebut my argument here? Okay.
I guess I'll do a rebuttal is just like an argument.
You can argue against this.
Okay.
How do you feel about it?
It would be the same. I guess the same cost for a student would be approximately at the same rate of inflation. So I mean, if you add like the cost of living for a student, and then you add upon like the I don't know how the inflation is. That's just adding like extra burden, you know. So I mean, so how would that counterbalance? You know what I'm saying? It's not a counterbalance. It's just, you know.
So you're saying that the rate of everything is going up, right? So all of the
it's
students.
Affecting the student as well as, I guess, the educator, or you know.
So the cost of housing, transportation, gas, food, books, clothing, computers, everything that a student would need to come to school, or to live really, is going up as well. So raising tuition every year to match that is just going to be too burdensome. Is that what you're saying? Because everything else is going up?
It might be a little overjob. Yeah.
Typically, those who are working, they're not really getting paid anymore. So the gap's getting wider and wider, and that's something that it is already. But on the other hand, I know teachers and professors,
Oh, we're not getting paid anymore. When tuition goes up, I've made the same salary the last 7 years.
Where is it going then?
To school.
No, it's
If they're going to do that, I mean, they should do it. They're not going to give teachers or anything like that else, raise. They're not going to get new books or anything like that. I mean, they should keep it to a minimum of every 5 years. Maybe raise tuition. Well, I know you got to buy books, but not books. I meant like computers and stuff like that. I mean, that extra tuition is not going to go to school and just go in somebody's pocket. Then, no, they shouldn't. But I mean, I can understand them raising it every 5 years for inflation. It doesn't necessarily have to be every year.
It doesn't have to be at the rate of inflation either. I mean, if inflation is 3% or 5% or whatever, then the tuition, I don't think it necessarily has to be increased by that much. A third or half or whatever. But no, I don't think that it should be increased by inflation every year. At the rate of inflation.
Okay, so you're saying that you disagree with this part, that it shouldn't be raised every year to match the rate of inflation. Now, you're not saying that it shouldn't be raised periodically, though, right? You're just disagreeing. So you're disagreeing with kind of the specifics of it, or at least a portion of it, the amount and the timeliness of the raising in tuition.
Correct.
So that would be your rebuttal, is if you were actually going to, rebut this in an actual drawn out argument. You would kind of word it in that way, that although you agree that tuition should be raised periodically, but that it shouldn't be raised every year and quite that much.
So when you're using this rebuttal, I'm taking that as though we're responding in an I agree, but I disagree because. Is that where we're going with that?
It can be.
Okay.
Or it could just be I flat
disagree
out
with all of it?
disagree with all. Yeah.
Or I agree with all
totally.
of it. Okay.
Well, no, if you agree with it, then it's not really a rebuttal. A
Okay.
rebuttal is kind of it's a reaction to the argument
Rebelling
in
against
which you disagree with it.
Kind of like you object against it some kind
Yes,
of way.
it's an objection
Gotcha.
to the whole of the argument or a part of the argument.
Got it.
And in that rejection, you can also offer what's called a counter argument. And that's what you had offered there, was I disagree with this, I think it should be raised this much and this often instead. So that was your counter argument, is that you offered a different solution. Because obviously tuition's gonna have to go up. And I'll tell you, the main thing, at least from all of the staff emails and stuff that I get, the main expense seems to be utilities. We just seem to use a lot of power. Because when you take into account all these computers and all of the different rooms that we have going on, and there's, you know, some of the rooms have specialized equipment that are running a lot, and we just seem to use a lot of power. And when energy bills go up, you know, that really hurts the community college. So, what else the money's being spent on, I don't know. I mean, we probably go through a lot of paper, ink, and all that stuff too, which again, you guys are paying for some of that as well. But it's definitely not in faculty raises, I can tell you that. And there's been like a hiring freeze in most of the departments. So, I don't know where it's going. Maybe it's, but, so that is basically what your rebuttal would be. It's a disagreement with someone's argument, and you're telling why you disagree with it, and then you're generally offering a counter argument. This is how I think it should work instead.